Hey, what's up, guys? As a request from my loyal fan, thank you, Renye, for commenting. I don't think I'm saying your name right. Renye kind of sounds like a black woman name, doesn't it? Anyways, we're talking about learning while you sleep, how that works, the subconscious. So, you can't really learn while you sleep, is the conclusion I'm gonna get to here. There's been a billion studies that they've done on this. Here's the thing. I mean, like, you can learn while you sleep, but it's not very effective, is what it gets down to. Because it's just in your subconscious, right? So, like, when you have a dream and you don't remember it, you actually retain the learning of the dream. You retain the memory, but it's in your subconscious. You can't access it. That's why you get deja vu and you're like, oh shit, I had a dream, but you don't even remember having the dream in the first place sometimes. Along with, like, you can remember things that happen while you're in a slightly wakeful state while you're sleeping. I have to look at my psych notes and see which states wakeful. I actually have my journal right here. Let me pull this out. Sorry, 1 sec. Let's see. So, I don't know where I wrote this down actually. I don't think it's in here. Anyways, so when you're in a slightly wakeful state while you're sleeping, you can kind of process the things that are going on a little bit consciously, but it's almost all subconscious, right? And when I say that you can remember the lessons from your dreams and shit, you could have like a scary dream and wake up in an anxious state and not remember what happened, right? You could have a good dream and wake up and feel like good about yourself, but you don't remember it, right? Like the morning wood, you probably had a sexual dream and you just don't remember, right? Like, just how it is. So yeah, you can retain this stuff a little bit, but you can't consciously pull it out, so it's kind of pointless. You know what I'm saying? But I can say, I think the best way that you could do this is have something go off while you're sleeping, play a noise, trigger some sort of sensory thing, right? Like, I don't really know what you could do besides doing like a smell. I think a smell would be the best thing. Like, if you were somehow able to trigger in what was essential oil to be released into your room, like while you're playing noises, and then you smell the essential oil during the day, you might be able to pull out a bit of memory, right? Because that's how you pull out shit from your subconscious, is you get into the same circumstances in a sensory sense for the most part, and sometimes you'll randomly remember something, like how when you taste a flavor from being a child and you start to think about memories that you had that you don't even remember until you taste it, or you smell something, reminds you of your childhood that you haven't smelled in forever, and it kind of takes you back. I mean, and it's not to say that stuff in the subconscious is lost, right? Because think about this. They've done studies where it's like heuristics. Heuristics are like the stuff that you don't really think about with your brain, right? So it's like A or B. Just A, you know? You don't think about why A. You just fucking pick it. Because it feels the most right to you. It's your gut instinct to say. You know? And you don't really have much control over it either. Like, it's actually the most correct form of learning. So, like, racism is heuristical. I actually want to make a video talking about racism pretty soon, and heuristics and stuff like that. But, like, racism is heuristical. So let's say you got robbed by a black guy wearing, like, I don't know, just some hood-looking black guy, right? And then you see hood-looking black dudes, and you just automatically associate them with that, right? It's a pattern recognition. And guys, I'm not saying that black people do all the crime and shit, obviously. It's just an example. Like, that's the most correct way, because you're actually engaging your pattern recognition, But yeah, it's not socially correct, right? It's not good to just be like these are all criminals. Of course not. But it's just kind of how your brain is, right? Your brain doesn't really, your subconscious mind isn't really filtering your thoughts like your consciousness is, right? I mean, you could kind of think about the id, the ego, and the superego of Sigmund Freud, right? Like, the id is kind of the heuristical brain. It's just operating out of the subconscious. I want to have sex. I want to eat food. I want to be comfortable, right? And the superego will figure it out, but it's just it's stuff out of your control. And so like when you sleep and you learn stuff, yes, you will actually retain it to an extent, but you can't consciously conjure it up. It just kind of influences your behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Which is interesting. I don't know, it's a little weird. So like anyways, what I was gonna say is they did a study where they had people take a test as quickly as possible, just like bang bang bang. I don't really know exactly how it worked. And then they had one where you're like really taking time evaluating your answers, double checking. And the people that did the test where it was as quickly as possible did better. Therefore, you can use your subconscious and actually have it be correct. It can actually learn stuff, right? Like, you can learn a lesson. I think I might have talked about this in the Carl Jung video. I talked about the subconscious a lot there. You can learn a lesson and not remember why you think this, but you just know, like, I shouldn't do this, you know? Let's say you're a kid and you fall out of a tree, and then, like, years down the line, you're scared of some sketchy scenario where you're at a height, and you don't remember falling out of the tree, but you just know, like, okay, I should be careful here. This is very dangerous. Like, I'm not good with this stuff, right? You learn the lesson, but you don't remember exactly what brought you to that. So, learning in your sleep, I think the best thing to do is like learn vocabulary, to be honest, because when you're speaking, you're not really thinking a lot about your choice of words. I mean, I don't really know who does that, unless it's like a speech or some shit. But when you're just speaking just from your heart, that's heuristical, right? You're not considering every word. So, learning vocabulary, just having a dictionary going off while you're sleeping, yeah, you'll probably improve your vocabulary somewhat. Not like a drastic amount, but you'll for sure learn stuff. But you're not really going to be able to consciously conjure it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly think that the best thing to do for learning, like, me and my roommate have this board. It's right here. It says word of the day. Right there, that whiteboard. And, like, even just having this in the background, like, I could recite all these words after having read them once or twice, just because it's in the background all the time. So I'm thinking about it, you know? So I think that that's a much better thing to do, is to integrate whatever you're trying to learn into your day-to-day. That's like the best way to get it, because then it's in your conscious mind, so then you could actually draw it out, especially for learning something like a language or some shit. That's why like Duolingo is good. You're practicing repetition and shit in your consciousness. But yeah, learning, especially learning a language, is extremely difficult while you're sleeping. Stuff like that. But to improve your language that you already understand is much easier, because, I don't know, you're just adding in a few words, you know? It just becomes heuristical. Like, for me to speak Spanish, I consciously learned all this stuff. If I was listening to Spanish while I was sleeping, I might be able to go off a little bit. Or, like, someone could say a word that I've already learned, and I might click really quick and be like, oh shit, it's this. But it's nothing close to just learning it so that I could just conjure it out myself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, in conclusion, you can learn while you sleep, you know? That's what, I used to, like, listen to really depressing music while I slept every night. I noticed my life was so much worse, you know? And it got so much better after I stopped, too. And it's just because, I mean, I think I mentioned that in the rap video as well. And it's just because I was intaking those ideas in a subconscious level. And it's interesting, your conscious thoughts are honestly, I'd argue, less influential than your subconscious. Because, like, your consciousness, this is how I portray it. Your consciousness brings up the yes or no choice, but your subconscious is already picked, right? And you could argue, like, oh, well, this is the reason that I should pick yes, but your subconscious, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to reason like that, right? You're just bringing up whatever reason because you were already inclined to pick yes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, that sums it up. Let me know if you guys want to hear any videos about any topics, guys. My friend told me to talk about OCD, so maybe I'll make a video about that now. Who knows? But yeah, guys, that's it. I think I'm gonna start doing like at every benchmark, whatever video idea is most liked. I'll talk about that. I'll like put it in the channel, some shit. I don't know. I'll write it out. But I'll put down the benchmarks as well. But yeah, guys, that's it. I want to make the racism video actually, and, like interview people and shit. But I'll have to figure out how to like export files onto my computer and all this nonsense. So yeah, guys. I want to talk about the shadow self as well. I might record about that next, honestly.